Here today I'm going to show you how the XL1 engine treatment works and how it can protect your vehicle. How we physically impregnate the metal, become part of the metal, and so this we're going to show you how the Timken bearing is a test machine for motor oils and gear oils and what an additive package really does. So today we have a bearing. This acts as your oil sump, and we use Mobil 1 because it's a good oil, and we figure if we can make Mobil 1 better, we can make any oil better. So as you see, now we have a bearing riding pretty high. You can see there's a good bit of parasitic drag there, so it's riding high on the bearing. When we make our oils, we try to cut back on the parasitic drag so it flows better. But you'll see how this additive package works. Now we have a bearing that we're going to force on this bearing, and now, if you can see, the amp gauge here will go up here in a minute when we start putting pressure on it. As you can see, the amp gauge is going up. Now, as you see, it's a lot of noise, and we just tore up the bearing clearly. And if you can see how the bearing is cut, and see there, and now what we're going to do is turn this to a section right next to it, so you can still see how the bearing's cut, but we've got a fresh piece right there. Now we do have a bad bearing here, but we're going to leave this alone, so we'll be running against the bad bearing. Now, we use the XL1 at 2 ounces per quart. It's a 100% additive package. So what we're going to do to accelerate the test is just add a little to the oil, and then we'll put this back on. And with heat and friction, we physically impregnate the metal, become part of the metal. And I'll show you that in just a second. But we put the same pressure that we did earlier. Now, have you noticed that the amp is staying the same? It's not going up. Even with double the pressure where we broke the bearing a while ago, now we still have the protection level, and we're not tearing the bearing up. If you can see this, I don't know if you can see, but it didn't. There's where we tore the bearing up earlier, and you probably can't even see where it touched it. But that's the protection level. There's not a reason for you to ever wear out another bearing or a cam. No reason. Now let me show you this again. You know, we tell everybody that we impregnate the metal, become part of the metal. And now what we're going to do here is a really, really tough test. But if a lot of racers, when they go into the turn, they hit real hard, they're on the brakes, the oil will run away from the rear main. And then when it does, they have problems. Well, if you lose oil pressure, that's a mayday situation. Clearly, we've lost oil pressure here, and there's no issue. But what's really neat about it, if you lose oil pressure, there wouldn't be a little fella to go up in there and wipe the bearing dry. Because we impregnate the metal, we become part of the metal, and you see the amps, that's metal to metal running together. And the amps aren't going up. With our, as you can see, And if you feel it, there's no heat here. And as you can see, we have no wear. And that's because we physically impregnate the metal, become part of the metal. We have a patent called PTRO. It's a purpose-tuned racing oil patent. And we utilize this in all of our motor oils, our gear oils, everything that we do. We have a 3060 gear oil that works probably better than any gear oil in the world. It's the fastest gear oil in the world. Our 5W40, which is the premium Group 5 base stock, has all of our additive packages based in it. So any oils that you buy from us already have the additive packages in it. So feel free to go to www.daytona1.com and look at our products. We appreciate it. Thank y'all.